Right, I'm going to show you how to wire a red top into a Vauxhall Nova. This is a Vauxhall Nova 1.2 carb. Obviously SPI a little bit different, which is single point injection. The engine's in, the fuel rail is all on, connected up. That's the crank sensor, which goes down the bottom over there, and you've got, off that you've got your temperature sensor, which obviously comes out up there. I'll show you in a bit. All the coil plugs on there, and I've just basically plugged everything on that needs to be plugged on. You've got your Nova loom coming out there, and the Nova loom has the starter wire going straight to the starter motor. I've not changed that at all. Starter motor wire, alternator wires here, they'll go to the alternator. Obviously you've got your oil thingy and your temp sensor there. So they'll go to where I rig them in. I'll probably unrig them out of the ECU and rig the rest in. But all your alternator, your starter motor and your alternator is exactly the same cabling. The only one I put on is that, but that's just down there anyway. It's pretty much every plug fits where it should be, so you just put them in as normal. The main thing is the wiring side of it. Basically, on your Nova loom, your red top loom, you've got your big red stopper there. You need to drill a hole into there. That just goes to the ECU and these cables here. A little bit more on them in a minute. Right, so if you drill, you can get a drill piece that will drill that to the right size if you want to mess about. I did it on my old car with a tiny drill bit and just drew around a circle that I needed, that diameter, and then just drilled. It takes forever, but it gets the job done. And then that pops in, because you don't want no water on this. And obviously your rainwater comes down through here, it will go on straight onto there if you leave it there. And you need your battery in. Right, so from there, before this rubber grommet, you've got this. This is your live. Once again, it's got a panel. You should have a red wire out there. This is a brown one, so someone's changed it. So, but it's red there, and then it's been cut and then bodged to a brown one. Strange, but these things do happen. This here is something to do with fuel, whatever fuel it runs on. I've never really changed it, but if it's running a bit lumpy, just try swap. You just unplug it, turn it around and plug it back in. That wants to go to a permanent lav on your battery, so that'll be in your scuttle panel there. Thread all that back through and your permanent lav onto the battery there. Right, this here, red and blue. Your red and blue here is for your fuel pump. That there needs to go straight back to where the fuel pump is. It's your fuel pump relay list. So that wants to go all the way back to your fuel pump. 9 times out of 10, I've done them before through the car and then through one of the bungs in the car. And then it just goes straight out, or just drill a hole and put your own bung in, whichever. To be fair, I've totally bridged and not used that before and just put my own switch on so no one else knows how to start it. But the choice is yours. That there goes to the fuel pump. Then you get your, wherever you've mounted your fuel pump, one of the bolts on your fuel pump, you use it as your F. So you're not bringing the wire all the way back to the battery for an F. Just F it straight to the car. These here are the other plugs you need. Actually, just a minute before we do that. This one here from your coil all the way down, follow it back, and there'll be a black wire that springs off it. That there wants to go to a permanent ignition live. Now, if you don't know which of your wires are ignition live, if you go to your wiper motor, excuse me, go to your wiper motor, you've got this black and purple one here. That's ignition live. So you can put this onto here and tee off. So sorry about my camera skills, not brilliant. But if you tee off there, then you will have that on ignition live. Obviously, you can do it in, take a bit more time and thread it in nicely, whatever you want to do. Do you know what I mean? Find that inside the car and thread it in through there, whichever takes your fancy. Don't put it on a permanent lav. If you put it on a permanent lav, you'll burn it out. Right, now as for this, these plugs here are people's great confusions. We have, right, so let's see. Right, this here, your complete blue one is your coolant temperature. If you look down here, you should have the plug that goes onto the coolant temperature from that one there. That there wants cutting off and going straight to your clocks. There's no messing about. I don't think it's fused. If it's, just check where the one comes from. Obviously the one in your car goes that way down. Just put it straight to the clocks and it'll tell you the coolant temperature. Right, your brown and blue. Which one's that? A bit dirty. It's not that. It's that one there. Right, brown and blue on your other box. That's brown and blue. That one is your ECU warning light. Right, so if, obviously depending on what car you've got, if you've got SPI, you do have an ECU warning light, which means it should be the same colour to go to it, brown and blue. On this one, it's a carb model, so it'll go on the choke, which is brown and yellow. So if you look behind your dash fan brown and yellow, then that'll go towards your choke on there. You can probably follow it back to the fuse box and just plug it straight into the fuse box instead. Just makes it a bit tidier. Remember, all these wires will be inside the car because they'll be past that grommet that's there on the back of the thing anyway. And your green, which is this one, is your rev counter. This is 1.2 carb, like I say. It doesn't have rev counter in it at the minute. Unsure whether I'm going to put it in or just keep it completely standard with this engine. So that's obviously a choice of yours, whether you put the rev counter on or not, but that wants to go straight to a rev counter. Other than that, it starts and drives. Obviously this one doesn't. I've got to rig up the fuel wires. I need to put a drive shaft in. Make sure you put a drive shaft in before you start it, because otherwise you can rattle the box. You'll have your cogs in your box bouncing around. So yeah, other than that, just a few water pipes and I'll fire up. Happy days. Just to help you guys out.